Live, local, now. This is Heartland News at 5.
So it was a rusted area that just blew out because of the pressure.
But this is a highly unusual occurrence. I have been here for more than 13 years and nothing even approaching this has ever happened.
5 counties now impacted by a water main break in southern Illinois.
Some cities have virtually shut down and schools have called off classes. Good afternoon, everyone. Our team coverage on that story continues in just a moment.
We are also tracking scattered storms across the heartland and the possibility of flash flooding. Let's go straight to Lisa. She's got your first alert at 5.
You're absolutely right. We're seeing a lot of more storms that will be popping up and even more rain on the way tomorrow. I'll have more details on that in a little bit.
The wide-reaching impact of a water main break in southern Illinois continues to grow.
The city of Mount Vernon declares a state of emergency as 5 counties struggle. Meanwhile, Carterville should expect to have service partially restored, we're told, by the end of the day with a boil water order in effect.
Governor Bruce Rauner has been briefed on the situation. He issued a statement saying that state agencies are working hard to keep the public safe.
The break happened Wednesday afternoon at Wren Lake Inner City plant in Benton, virtually shutting down many cities. Crews are working around the clock to get things back to normal.
Now, at its height, the Wren Lake plant says around 160,000 people could be impacted.
Some communities like Christopher are handing out bottled water right now.
And that's where we find Brittany Jacob, who continues our live team coverage.
Yeah, since the water is shut off here in Christopher, the city leaders have responded to the community's need by providing these packs of water to the community. And earlier this afternoon, the city of Christopher shut off their water indefinitely. And I spoke to many people throughout the town who seem to know exactly what to do during times like this, like preparing their meals, boiling water. And one lady told me that she will not take water for granted anymore and that it's hard to do without things when you're used to it.
I just filled my bathtub up full of water so I'd have water to flush the toilet.
I boiled the water, put it in gallon jugs, tried to get as much water for my horses as I could, just trying to think ahead.
Right now, the city has reserved about 175,000 gallons of water for an emergency disaster, and many of those local stores may be out of water right now, but they are anticipating on getting a shipment by tomorrow. And the water distribution center here at Christopher will be open until 8 p.m. tonight for this community. And I've been in contact with Wren Lake, and they will continue to give us more updates as the night progresses. Live local now in Christopher, Brittany Jacob, Heartland News.
Thank you, Brittany. Now, as you heard at the beginning of the show, a break like this is pretty unique. So what exactly happened?
The district engineer for the Wren Lake plant explains.
We have a 36-inch steel pipe leaving the water plant, and that's the main pipe that feeds the whole entire distribution system. It had a break on the very bottom of the pipe inside a trench inside the plant, so it was a difficult area to get to and try to weld a repair onto it.
So obviously this water main break had a wide-reaching impact. Many places have water reserves for emergencies like this.
But those only last so long, as Heron Mayor Steve Frattini tells us.
If it doesn't get fixed in 16 hours, then we're going to have to look at other water resources, whether it be by tank truck for essential services to be able to continue on.
So they are asking residents to reserve their water use until it's fixed.
Some simple ways to do that: put off household chores like laundry and dishes, and don't take a shower or bath if you're under this warning. Also, turn off any sprinklers or outdoor fountains that you may have. So basically just limit your water to use that is essential to you.
And a reminder, burn bans have also been issued in Franklin and Hamilton counties, along with in the communities of DuQuoin, Marion, and Carterville. Johnny Logan College and Wren Lake College called off classes at every campus. Bottled water is being offered in several communities that are being affected. Many businesses had to shut down early, including nearly everyone in the city of Marion. Now, we talked to some business owners tonight. Look for continuing team coverage on Heartland News at 6.
In the meantime, we have all of these details listed online and on your KFES News app. Well, water problems happening in St. Louis today as well. Take a look at this. A break in the Overland sent water rushing more than 70 feet in the air. Crews were able to shut it off less than an hour after it began.
That is the latest show of force from Hawaii's Kilauea volcano. New video of this morning's eruption shows a dusty plume of ash, which eventually stretched some 30,000 feet high and sent ash raining down below. It comes after nearly 2 weeks of rumblings, along with nearly 24 massive cracks that have opened up in the ground, which have also spewed ash, lava, and toxic gas. Experts say this is not the big explosion they've been predicting, and even if that still happens, they don't expect any injuries as long as people stay out of the national park where this volcano sits.
A school field trip ends in tragedy in New Jersey today. Officials say one student and one teacher were killed when a dump truck crashed into a school bus. You can see the force of the impact was great. It ripped the bus from its undercarriage. The accident happened on an interstate about 50 miles west of New York City. Several children were injured and rushed to area hospitals.
This is a devastation right now for our community, for the families involved, for the Eastbrook Middle School, for the children to have to be, the children that were involved, and even the children that are still in school.
2 other buses on the field trip turned around and took those students back to school where grief counselors were waiting. There's no word on the condition of either driver. The mother of the teenager charged with firing shots at a Northern Illinois high school says he was bullied by classmates.
Authorities say 19-year-old Matthew Milby will recover after being shot by a school resource officer outside Dixon High School. Police say Milby fired several shots on school grounds as seniors rehearsed for graduation. Milby's mother says her son, who was set to graduate Sunday, was recently beaten up and had been kicked off the football team for smoking pot. No one else got hurt. Missouri voters will get to decide if they want to be a so-called right-to-work state in August. Lawmakers moved the vote to the primary election day from the November general election. Voters will decide whether to keep a state law that bans mandatory union fees. Republicans passed a right-to-work law last year, but it never took effect because unions gathered enough signatures to put the question before voters.
A 54-year-old woman is charged with assault after storming into a gas station in Crystal City, Missouri, and threatening the clerk with a machete.
Russell Kinsall has that story.
Scary. Scary.
Yeah, it is scary.
It is scary.
Paul and Paulette Hudson were shocked to learn their neighbor, caught on surveillance camera threatening a BP clerk in Crystal City with a machete, was also a convicted felon.
It's weird, to find out somebody like that was your neighbor.
54-year-old Lizette Von Horstman is charged with 2 counts of assault and 1 count of unlawful use of a weapon. Before her arrest, she lived in a home near the gas station. On one window is a no trespassing sign. Another has a drawing of a skull, and scratched in the glass of the storm door are the words, "Leave alone." Neighbors say she acted oddly, played music loudly at all hours, and once tried to start a fight.
It was a little scary. You can clearly see that she was drinking. She had very bad potty mouth, and there's children around here, and I just asked her to leave.
Online, we found court records showing Von Horstman pleaded guilty to a 1992 murder in Florida. She and another woman lured a 66-year-old man to this hotel in Hollywood, Florida, where they strangled him and beat him to death with a tire iron, then stuffed his body in the trunk of a car. She went to Lowell Correctional Center in Gainesville, where she served just 11 years. In Crystal City, she's said to be a regular customer at the gas station where she waved around that machete.
I'm just surprised she's even out. I'm surprised she's not in prison.
Neighbors say the frightening scene caught on camera was bad enough, but find it scary to know a convicted murderer has been living nearby.
And she lives, I guess, a block away from me.